Hello everybody, Drew here, tip of the Mitt Flips, where I'm a full-time eBay reseller, and every 100 subscribers there's a giveaway. So if you're watching, make sure you subscribe so you have a chance to win. I only have 6 orders going out today, but I do have a special surprise. But first off, it's Wednesday, so that means it's time for Tip of the Day. And today's tip, make sure to look back. Caught myself doing this a couple times, where my store hits a goal. Goals are great. Set goals, achieve those goals, celebrate those goals, move on to the next goal. But don't forget how far you've come, because my store quantity will hit a certain goal. My sell-through rate, my sales totals, my YouTube subscriber count. These things will hit certain goals, personal goals for myself. It's like I check the box and I don't think about it again, that I accomplished anything. I move on to the next goal. How do I get to the next goal? More. I need more. And so I have to force myself to do this, where I have to think, okay, think back of how far you've come. Think back the things you have accomplished. Think back of how grateful you were when you did accomplish those things. I'm just trying to drive home the point that don't cheapen the goals you've already achieved just because they're not your goals that you're going to reach in the future. Just because they're a fraction of the goals that you intend to reach. Just because they're small in comparison to what you're doing now. You still need to think back, maybe write yourself a note. Maybe for myself, write myself a note. How much, because I was like, okay, I hit the 800 subscribers, only 200 to go. And I was just kind of like rushing to that next spot. And so I took a second, I sat back and I thought about how excited I was when I hit 50 subscribers. How excited I was when a video would get 10 or 15 views. Where those things were still goals I worked hard at, still goals that I'm proud of, but are in the far rear view mirror. I just needed a bit of a reality check to myself to make sure to look back at how far I've come in order to appreciate the things that are happening currently. Don't just always check the box and move on to the next goal. Yes, it's great to have goals, but don't get caught up in that. Don't get lost in it, at least. And now for the surprise. This is also a bit of a surprise to me. A friend of mine, Mikhail, super cool dude. We used to work together on a vacation island. It's not as glamorous as it sounds. We rented bikes. We didn't rent bikes together and like ride. Well, we did ride bikes around the island, but we would rent bikes out to people. We worked at a bike rental shop. Really cool dude. Spent time with him over the summer that we worked together. And then he moved back, I think back home, and then moved somewhere else. Either way, he's now a reseller, and he sent me an eBay mystery box. Why would he do that? Well, that's also a bit of mystery to me. 1, he's a super nice dude. So I think that is most of it. 2, I think he kind of felt bad because he put out a couple YouTube videos. His sourcing is the stuff people dream of. He lives in a honey hole area. I'm assuming it's a seasonal area with high income population. So when you get those seasonal places, lots of times those type of thrift stores, because people clear out before they head back north, or they're just not there that long, or they got a bunch of money, so the stuff they donate is at a higher value. So I think it might have been a little bit of that where he just kind of felt bad for me. So he sent me an eBay mystery box that we're going to unbox together. I'll actually link one of his videos at the end. Of course, a picture will be somewhere on the screen by this point. I don't know if he's going to go back to making YouTube. I think so. Even if he doesn't make any more, you should go check these out. Because if this is what your sourcing looks like, you're good. You're good. Quit your job. Do it full time. You're good. If your sourcing doesn't look like that, realize that these places do exist. They're not fantasy. Some of the ones on YouTube are fantasy. Some of them are made up. Some of them are fake. There are places where you're like, to me, unimaginable how much good stuff there is to source. So Mikhail, thank you so much. Let's get to seeing what we got. Not sure what that is. We'll have to see. A micro SDHC So that's cool. New in package. Very cool belt, embossed throughout. And it is an adult size. I wonder if it's got a size on it. 36. Awesome. I don't even have to measure it. That's great. It's even got a name of the company on it. I don't even know what this is. I mean, of course, it kind of looks like a calculator, but that's definitely not a calculator. That's a mystery for another time. A Wii remote. I mean, I'm never going to turn down a Wii remote. And this is cool. Look at this. Vintage 1977 Barbie case. Needs a clean job, but no big deal there. I mean, that's most of my day anyway. And it is full of vintage Barbie clothes, a vintage Barbie, and I can tell just by the fabrics. This is 100% vintage clothing. This is definitely great eBay stuff. This is going to be a total pain to list. So maybe it was some of the stuff that he knew had value, but he's like, I know me, and I'm not going to list it. One of those things. I don't know. Very cool. Very, very cool. Excited to go through that. I'm not going to pull out all the pieces and stuff because I'll make a mess, and I still got to do work in here today. But that is very cool. We've got what looks like a power supply. ResMed. Not sure what that goes to. Power supplies on their own do hold a value, so maybe that's just a power supply. And then look at here. A second one. If it wasn't cool enough with one, now I've got two. And from the weight of it, I think we're going to have a similar situation. And we do. Some rough condition, but I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just pointing stuff out. Clean them up. These might be... I'm in no way an expert on Barbies or anything like that. But one of those actually kind of looked like a midge. So I'll have to do some research on that. Worst case scenario, this is a fantastic opportunity for me to learn a niche that I need to know more about. Because one of the only resellers I watch regularly is Shed Flips. Just remember I got the glasses on. Is Lonnie and Candace over at Shed Flips. Candace, she had a normal job. I think she worked at a bank or something. But she glommed onto learning a niche. And it's unbelievable how fast she has gone from someone who, you know, kind of knew stuff about how to reselling to someone who is an she probably wouldn't call herself an expert, but I would say she's an expert in the niche of dolls and action figures. And that's an area that I need to know more about because it's an area that is overlooked often. And it's an area where there's a ton of money in little tiny things. So very happy to do the research and deep dive into these two cases here. This might get jumped to the front of the line as far as my inventory, just because this is something I've been looking for the research purposes. I mean, of course I'm going to resell it, but this is great. Got a Wii game, which is cool because I'm not going to go through it today, but I scored a big lot of games and there is a Wii in there. I'm going to go through that probably next week. This stuff might jump to the top front of the line, like I was saying, and then I'll get to that maybe tomorrow, probably first of the week next week. And then there's even a note on here. More stuff in here. Wanted to maximize space in the box. Okay, this was tight in the box, so I actually had to cut the bottom to relieve the pressure. But this is awesome. There's also some other Wii bits in here. So there's a Wii cord there and a nunchuck. And this is a plug to some type of Presto hot plate or something like that. I list stuff like this very often. Another Wii remote. Too cool in the purple. Kids might have to keep that one. And then, I mean, just, this is so cool. It doesn't, I think, have the chess board, but these Simpsons chess pieces are too cool. And then, okay, there we go. And then more chess pieces. All right. So I can definitely fill up my chess piece backstock, chess piece inventory. And then with these Simpsons ones, let's see, is this a chess board in here? Okay, it does come with the board. So I wonder if this is a complete set. Either way, even if it's not, very cool. Couple of handles. All right. These are handles to your like Corningware and stuff like that. I'll show an example here because it took me a minute to figure it out. If I find one, it's meant for ones like this one back here. Let's see if I can dig it out without being a big deal. And how it works is you twist the handle and it releases, and then you put it on, and then you twist the handle and it locks in, and then it turns stuff into stuff that doesn't have a handle you can grab, or at least you need some type of mitt for, into something you don't, and it makes it almost like a panhandle. I think that's where my Kyle might be from, is the Panhandle of Florida. 2 of those, which actually is super exciting because I currently have a listing where I have a quantity, where I have a set. It's 2 in the listing, so now I just have to clean those and then go quantity 2. Very cool. Let me put the camera down for a second so I can open this one and see what that is. And it's a Wii. He sent me a Wii. Like, what kind of life do I live? I get 800 subscribers. I got a beautiful family. My buddy Mikhail sends me quality things to list on my eBay store. They didn't have to go out and source. I mean, life is good. Life is real good. I'm feeling positive today. Tons of positivity. So again, Mikhail, above and beyond, not necessary, but I mean, greatly appreciated. Very cool stuff. And I'm talking over the moon excited to research this stuff, because researching things when you don't have them in your hand is almost impossible. You could try, you could look stuff up. Sometimes when I'm looking up one item of a category, I'll sort by highest price and just kind of quickly scroll through and see if anything sticks in my head. But until you actually have it physically in your hands, you don't really know. This also might be something I might be able to also pass off on a Jen. Maybe she'll glom onto it. Maybe a niche she would like to get into. I don't know. I don't know if she was a doll person. Maybe just an opportunity to learn something about my girlfriend. Cool stuff. All right, and I just had one more order coming in, so that's actually 7 today. I am jazzed. Let's go. First thing going out, UEFA Champions League. It's a soccer game. Do not buy outdated sports games unless they're very specific ones. Usually the last one for a system. So if it's Madden, the newest version they made for a outdated system is going to be the one that has value. The NCAA one, the last one they made, that one has value. Beyond that, sports games, be choosy or just skip them all together, and you'll do better than if you're buying them regularly, hoping for that good one. Just skip them. Or look up the ones that are good, put those in the memory bank, and go from there. Point of the story, $7.99 free shipping for this game. So sports games, slow sellers, low dollar, not usually worth it. That one is, I'll tell you why in a second. Next up, C4 is a vintage praying stuffed guy thing. I can't remember what brand. I probably should have read the title before I started walking away. But either way, this is a doll from my childhood, and it is vintage Special Blessings Little Boy 1987. That's actually a Kenner product. Kenner tends to be good stuff. Vintage Kenner, definitely, because they made, I think they made Masters of the Universe, Star Wars. Most of the toys from the 80s, 70s, 80s, that era is Kenner. Most of the good stuff is Kenner. So for that, $29.99 free shipping. Next up, sent out an offer, B4 vintage 1, 2, 3, 4 Pyrex. What is this pattern called? Oh, come on. Try to think of it before you get back. Sandalwood, maybe? No, that ain't it. It is sandalwood. All right. My memory actually worked. That does not happen. But vintage Pyrex number 473 sandalwood, $11.99 plus shipping. Next up, it's a book, 1965, The Beloved Invader. Beloved Invader right here with the dust jacket. Most of the books I have do not have the dust jacket, and I think that's because my aunt, whose library it was, I think she didn't like dust jackets. I think she preferred the look of a book when it looked like this, where it was just book. I think she would just take them off. $12 free shipping. Of course, her intention wasn't to resell them 30 years later, 40, 50, 70 years later, whatever it is, but $12 free shipping. And next up, Crackdown 3. I think it's Xbox One. Right here, yep, Crackdown 3. And this is the reason that this one was worth it. On that one, $10 free shipping, which was a decent offer that they sent. I think $4 off or something like that. But it was because they also had already bought this game. They bought this, and then the next day, they said, hey, I bought this game, and I sent you an offer on a new one. So I didn't even look at what the offer was. I just accepted it because now, instead of paying $4 something or $3 whatever, I don't know where it's shipping to at this moment, but somewhere between $4 and $5 to ship out each one. Now it's going to be somewhere between $4 and $5 to ship them out together. The savings on shipping was still less than whatever they offered, so that's great. Bundles on free shippers is the dream. Next up, B3A, Blast from the Past, Pogs, Slammer, and PogTube right there. Nothing fancy in there, but Pogs are still cool in my mind. $19.99 free shipping. And this is the one that came in just not too long ago. It had sold last night, but they hadn't paid yet. Lot of 10 on A6. Lot of 10 novelty. Of course, I shoved it way back here for no reason. Koozies. The ones I just talked about the other day. I made a lot of 10. There was a bunch of duplicates. I don't put duplicates in a lot because it doesn't have the same appeal. When people buy them like this, it's usually because they have an at-home bar for the boat or for the cabin, and they just want a pile of them. And when you buy these new, you know, you're paying $9.99 in a gift shop. So it's still a really good deal for them. $15.99 plus shipping. I think I had them listed $19.99 plus shipping. And it doesn't really fit in this box, but I think I might give it a smoosh and just go for it anyways. Jiggle them down a little bit and see if I can get that to fit in that box, because it's almost too perfect. But worst case scenario is I'll just telescope it with a second one. We'll see how that goes. Well, I'll see how that goes. So that's all for sales today. Not a big deal, because I have a lot of stuff to list now. Again, Mikhail, I know you're a nice guy, but too much. You've gone too far. You're too nice. Again, I'll put a link to his video in the description, and I'll link one of his videos at the end. Check it out. Like I said, it blew my mind. He I think is going to go back to making videos, so maybe give him a sub, and then if he starts again, you can have your mind blown by his fantastic sourcing that I am unbelievably jealous of. But that's going to be all for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. Subscribe, share, and be good to each other.